And then finally, I'm going to read one more segment that is a narrative, and it's part of the story of our character, Myers. So, Myers was finally in Bluefields. And now the question was, why Bluefields? He couldn't recall. Certainly he must have had a reason to propel him forward each dawn, if not an original reason that he'd forgotten, at least a purported reason, one that he told people over and over, one he emailed home. It couldn't be that he thought he would find tourists at the other end, bank machines and beaches and blue skies and song, bring on the Caribbean dream. He couldn't have thought that. Who other than he would come this far and go this long? Who other than he? He walked from the dock, numb, wet, wanting only the internet. The main street was a pit of mud. At that point, it seemed impossible that he could still be looking for the man his wife followed or be waiting for his wife to arrive, but he was. Maybe it was a different man, or a different wife, or maybe the same ones with different names. Maybe there was no wife anymore, only the habit of emails home. He took a room in the Hotel Caribbean Dream of all things for $4 a night. He was the only guest. That day in Bluefields, he didn't see any tourists like he hoped. A truck like a tank wobbled down the street and sprinkled a great mist of repellent over them all. The earth rumbled with a minor quake, and everyone held out their hands for balance. But then he came out of his hotel and saw a North American sitting on a step as if they were in Brooklyn. "I haven't seen anyone like me in a week," said Myers. "A week?" said the man. "Who's like you? There's no part of that sentence I understand." "Where are the tourists?" said Myers. "The reggae bars." "I've never seen a tourist here." He studied Myers. "Is that what you are?" "No," said Myers. "I'm just here to check my email." And lo and behold, he and Myers were from the same town, although the man didn't know how to act like someone from that town anymore. He kept speaking the wrong language. "In the U.S. we speak English these days," Myers thought it fair to inform him. "Is that right? And what was I speaking?" "I don't know what that was." And lo and behold, the man knew just where Myers could check his email. As they walked through the streets to reach it, the man said, "I can get you a girlfriend, a local, just so you know." "I have a wife," Myers said. He wasn't sure of that. "That's an angry arm you've got there," the man said. "It's a little crunched." "You looked banged up elsewhere, too. You get in a fight?" "I could use a doctor," Myers admitted. "Oh, yeah, a doctor. Just be careful. Don't let anyone do any voodoo on you." Myers had no new messages. It was on a hill they walked up that he told Myers what happened, how he got stuck in this spot. They walked up that hill in the heat and drizzle for the same reason people ride rivers or sail out into the sea. "I was fishing off the coast of Bluefields," the man said. "I had a crew of 3. I was standing on the deck looking out at the water. Suddenly they jumped on me, 3 at once, and hit me over the head with a pipe." "A pirate ship," said Myers. "Not a pirate ship," said the man, a little annoyed. "It was my fish. It was my fishing ship, my crew." "They jumped on me," he said. "One was hitting my legs with a pipe. Another was hitting my head, blood everywhere. I wouldn't go down." "Why not?" Myers gasped. "I was screaming. I was crazy. I don't know what I was doing. I went down at last. They tied me up with cord. Look, I have scars still. Look at my ankles. I still limp from the pipe." He still had scars around his ankles, thick, uneven rings. "They held a machete to my throat," he said. "You're going to fucking die, man. Die in Bluefields," one kept saying. "Let me do him right now," another kept saying. Then they locked me in a room and left me there. I pushed the air conditioner out the window and jumped into the water. I escaped. "It was freezing in that water," he told Myers, "and shark-infested. I was bleeding. I was so far from land. I swam for hours. At last, I made it, and I crawled up on the rocks. I ran to a door, a long trail of blood behind me. I pounded on that door, and an old man opened it. I told him, 'I'll give you $500 cash. I'll go to the bank and give you $500 cash if you'll drive me in your boat to the U.S. military base right now.'" "You said that?" Myers gasped. Well, first I asked him for a glass of water. I was immensely thirsty. "Can I have a glass of water?" I said, and then I said I'd give him $500. The old man said, $500 US? All right, let's go. And we went out to his boat, but the damn thing wouldn't start. He kept trying, and finally I said, "Old man, give me that thing," and I nearly tore the engine off. Myers never heard of anybody going through something like that and not going home. "What happened to the engine?" he said. "I started it, and I was saved." In Bluefields it was dusk, and 100 years' worth of birds were flying in, coming over the rooftops. The birds landed and landed on wires, on posts. Still more arrived, and more, circling in from all sides. They were strikes, clouds. The noise was an invasion. The air was a long note. It cannot be described on a page. It would be impossible to capture in a movie. There is no way to represent it. Being there wouldn't do it. You'd have to be Myers, see what he saw. It was like an emergency, like he had stopped breathing, the first bell toll of the apocalypse. Meanwhile, around them, men chopped their coconut, chatted among themselves. That's simply how things move in this wet country. "I'd like to go home," the man said. "Are you like most people at home?" Myers is like most people at home.